Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate with host Glenn Sutherland.
This is the second part of an interview with Linda Labbe. I would suggest to go back and listen to the first one because it literally is just a flow through. There's not really a break with content. It just goes right into the other one. So go back to the episode before this and then listen to this one. Thanks.
If you're looking for Airbnbs, you look near something that has a lot of people drawn to it. A children's hospital, a cancer hospital, an airport, major transportation, tourist facilities. Like we're setting up 10 to 20 minutes north of Orlando.
Yeah.
That's right in the middle of Florida, where you have big trees, where you have block houses, and where people can go to either coast or any of the facilities, Legoland or Disney or Cape Canaveral or anything from the place within a half an hour.
So we're talking about like Florida, and we've been talking about Ohio a lot. Now, for some of these things, like those are drastically different price points from Orlando to Dayton, right? So does that make it so that might be a bad spot to do a flip because of price point, or just throw that right out the window?
Your price point you're working at is going to depend on your budget, and your budget's going to depend, I hate to say this, on a business plan.
Yeah.
And the number of people working in this business without a business plan or financial goals, I want to retire in 5 years, is not a financial goal.
No.
I need to be making $5,000 a month after taxes is a financial goal.
Yeah.
And then you break it down to 2.5 years, then you break it down to a year and a half, and then you break it down to every 5 months or 6 months. And then you break it down to every 3 months, and then you break it down to what I need to be doing in a month.
Yep.
And then you have some way to hold yourself accountable, to measure, to see if you're going to your goals. And where you look for a house depends on what your goals are. And they have to be specific. I want to have 100 doors in 5 years. It's not a goal.
Yep.
Goals have to have monetary attachment. I met an investor, had 37 doors, been investing for 5 years. Yeah, think he'd be doing well. He was clearing $1,000 a month.
On how many properties? 30 or 40?
37 doors.
Holy moly.
Because he had cross-financed and double mortgaged and done everything to them. And he bought from gurus, from turnkey companies. If you're buying a turnkey property, don't buy it from a turnkey company. They've taken all the profit off it already. They're selling it at 8%. If it ain't got 2 digits, don't buy the property. That's a good one. And if you're buying a turnkey property, you can't BRRR it out.
No,
because when you BRRR something, you've got to buy it. You've got to renovate it. You have to rent it, and then you can refinance it. If you're buying it already rented, somebody else bought it and somebody else renovated it. You can't jump in the middle of a project and BRRR it out.
Yeah, you're basically being the buyer on a flip that didn't have to go to full market standards. Like they flipped it to you. That's all they did.
Yeah, they flip, and it's not that some people like BRRR properties because they don't have to go through the renovations, and renovations can lead to surprises. And if you're a nervous type, or you're married to a nervous type, or people that worry and what if themselves to death, don't renovate.
Yeah.
I've done 140 projects now, and I can tell you not one ended up exactly the way we thought it would when we started. And it doesn't mean they went bad. They were good projects. But something always happens.
Yeah, we're in the business of solving problems. It's always new problems.
And if you don't If you think you're looking for a house, you're not. You're looking for a problem that you want to solve. You're looking for a story you want to tell. You're not looking for a house. You're looking for a story you want to tell. And if the story you want to tell is, I want to buy this house, I want to renovate it, I want to rent it, and I want all my money back so I can do it again, then you have to find a house that will tell your story.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't tell the story by $2,000, you don't go, oh, well, it's close enough, it'll work. It won't. Guaranteed. If it's not telling your story comfortably at the beginning, the end is not going to be pretty. So then you have to tell another story. And we've started BRRR projects, realized they won't BRRR, increase the renovation dollars and flip them.
Yep.
Or realized they weren't going to BRRR out as a rental and Airbnb'd them. Or got a multi-unit. My favorite is a multi-use building where you can find a multi-unit in the right area, rent half of it and Airbnb the other half, because you really do change your profits, possibilities, because Airbnb works on cycles. So if you're Airbnb, you've got to make a larger profit in the good months, put it aside to hold over for the bad months, just in case, because you don't know how bad your bad months are going to be the first year.
That's a great tip.
But we do Airbnb from rental units. If you're thinking of Airbnb, we find a rental unit in the area we like. We put our furniture in it. We rent it. Maybe pay $1,000 or $1,200 a month for a condo with a nice swimming pool.
Yep.
Furnish it for $5,000. So you're in under $10,000 and the unit's renting $150 a day. And put it in the hands of a property manager that we train, because the professional property managers want 30%.
Yes, they do.
Our property managers get 10% plus a bonus. So on the good months, they're going to make more money. On the bad months, they're just going to get 10%. You don't want to be tied into 30% on a month where you only rented 5 days. And the property manager has no skin in the game. So if you give, normally at 20 days, anything over that, they get 25% of the rent collected. So is your property manager going to do everything possible to make sure that after you get to 20 days at full rent, 20 days or X number of dollars, they get 25% after that?
Yep.
So they're making their $300 a month, but they're working for it.
So the people you've trained, is it that their full-time job, or do they have to have another job? Like, is this enough to support them?
Everybody's different.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
I do this full-time. It's all I do. Hubby no longer works.
Yeah.
Well, I still have my karate club running, but now it's a hobby.
Yeah.
You can't make money teaching 5 kids at a time, 25 days for the year.
Yeah.
But I love doing it, so I do it when I'm here, and when I'm not here, everybody knows I have a big girl job that actually makes money, and that sometimes I have to shut classes to go. For example, next weekend I'm going to Toronto to run a course.
Yes.
So I shut down the club for the weekend, and everybody's cool with it.
Let's talk about the course a bit, and then we'll wrap this up.
My course is based on a business plan.
Yep.
And it's based on the concept that if you're going to do this full time, you need 7 streams of income, not 1. So you have to do 7 different things.
There's a book called that, isn't there? The 7 streams. Is it Robert Allen?
I think so.
Yeah.
But if you
Anyway,
talk to any successful investor that's doing this full time, they aren't just BRRRing or just flipping or just doing rentals or just doing single families. They're doing 7 different things. So the course goes through all of the different possibilities of finding money, and teaches people how to take these possibilities and work the numbers into what you're making a month so that you can work it into a business plan, and helps people define their strengths so they know where to start, and encourages them to network, because ultimately your network is your net worth.
Right.
And
is the purpose to have, like, because I know with certain types of like you said with Airbnb, it's like seasonal, you get more money certain times of the year. Is that to kind of, if you have 7 different streams, to even it out so it's a, actually
Exactly.
livable?
Yeah, because Airbnb, if you've got one in Florida, you're going to make piles and piles of money in the wintertime.
Right.
And in the wintertime, you can't flip as well. And it's hard to rent something in Cleveland in January because you don't voluntarily move in January, so the people looking for places have probably been evicted and you don't want them. So it balances it off. Some things you have less control over. If I've got to fix and flip, I can do nothing to get that real estate person to have an open house every weekend except threaten to change the listing. I can't do the advertising, and I'm not talking on the phone, and I'm not meeting the buyers, and they're not as good as I am. I frustrate. If I'm doing a rental, I can advertise it, but I have to make sure the person if my property management company is really bad at picking up the phone and answering it, it's going to take ages to rent. I want some things that I have more control over.
Yep.
You have to have some go-to things that you can go to, and if it's a bad month, I'm going to do this because I have control.
Yep.
Even if you're doing buy and holds, you better have a buyer's list so you can sell some of the stuff, because every smart person is selling the 10% at the bottom of their pile.
Yep.
And you do buy and holds. If someone came up and offered you the right dollar, is there anything on your list that you wouldn't sell?
I'd sell everything.
Yeah. So why aren't you all? So most people who do buy and holds are always looking for turnkey buyers.
Yep.
Because there's nothing we don't sell except for our kids and our husbands or wives. I mean, everything else, because we're naturally traders. We always want to trade up.
Yep.
That's what makes somebody work in this business. So you have to have control. So if you have a bad month, then you better look for a turnkey buyer so you can sell something and make some money that month.
Totally get it.
Or the roof gets blown off and you forgot to put insurance on.
I don't have that option because I usually try to put financing on, so I always have insurance on.
But people put the wrong insurance. That's another place where you lose money. If you've got an air condenser outside of a unit, make sure your insurance covers outbuildings, because that air condenser is an outbuilding.
That's an interesting idea. I never thought of that, because down in the south, they do love to have their they have these big green boxes they put behind the houses, and it has the air conditioner and the furnace in it all in one, and it's not in the house, so that you have more square footage in the house. You're not wasting any room on electrical rooms.
But if you don't have things outside of the house insured, that beautiful $5,000 to $7,000 piece of equipment is not insured. And that's another part of doing your research. Finding how many people read their insurance policies.
Yep.
I mean, how many investors they call the insurance company, say insure it, and they're done? How many actually take the insurance policy and read it?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even read mine. I'm a terrible person.
Insuring that outside piece of equipment costs you an extra $10 a month. If you lose it, it's going to cost you $5,000.
Mind you, though, I did in 2019 replace 2 air conditioners, and I just paid for it myself. I wonder if I should have put an insurance claim in. I wonder if it's too late.
So it's
anyway,
just,
side note.
we make money on taxes. We make money on insurance. Anything you pay for with pre-tax dollars is money in your pocket.
Yep. You can write the whole thing off.
You write the whole thing off, and if you're and how you take your profits.
Yep.
Treat your profits like you would. We're Canadians. We understand registered retirement savings plans if we're self-directing them. We know we don't take our money out of them in a high profit year. Treat your investments in the States the same way. Leave your money parked in your C Corp in the States. You're not paying taxes on it unless you take it into your own pocket. If you're going to take it into your own pocket, take it for items that are totally deductible, like a trip to England. And your life is better for having the money. You're definitely getting a reward, but you're not getting dollars. You can gross $100,000 a year, but not net anything into your pocket and have a much better life. My next vehicle will be purchased by my C Corp.
We're going on to a whole nother rabbit hole, but at the same time, I'm like, I've thought about that too, about purchasing properties in corporate names, but I always wonder how they're going to allow that, if, because it's an American corp that, like, am I really using the property or the vehicle in the States?
Well, not 90% of my driving is in the States.
Gotcha.
I live in Northern Ontario in a small town. How much driving do I do up here? But I also, when I'm looking for a place, I consider drivability. How easily can I get to it from here? And what kind of tax benefits is picking that place going to give me? That's why we're looking for a second location, like a cottage in the Dayton area, because from Dayton I can drive everywhere else I go.
From a tax perspective, would it not make more sense to do it as like an Airbnb so that you could?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, because then you can make some money, write it off. Yeah, okay, right.
We're going to buy a property. Well, no, the corporation will buy the property.
Yeah.
We will Airbnb it and then stay there the times. Let's say we're going to Dayton in January. Well, we won't drive there in January. In December, we'll pick the 2 weeks or the week in December that it's not rented, and we'll block out the not rented time and go down then.
Yeah.
So we're looking for an Airbnb that we can rent 70% of the time. And then also I have a lot of clients that like to travel to the places we're investing. They can stay at the Airbnb.
Yeah.
So it'll be rented then. So it's a whole balancing act. But the goal eventually in looking for places is we're looking for places within 1 day drive of Dayton now for our other locations, so that we can drive from Dayton to there, come back to the Airbnb in Dayton, go someplace else, come back to Dayton, and go down for a month at a time. A lot of Canadians travel to the States to stay at their American home for a month at a time. So when we cross the border, where are you going? We're going to visit friends. We have a cottage in Dayton.
Yeah.
They're going to look at us like crazy, but we're putting it in Yellow Springs, which is a tourist destination.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going.
Yeah.
And it makes it simple. It makes it easy. And it's common for Canadians to have a house in Florida or Texas. I just don't like it that hot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. That makes sense.
Dayton's green. We had 2 feet of snow yesterday.
In Dayton, yeah.
No, here.
Oh, here. Oh, yeah. We mostly got ice.
Is the weather okay down there now? I'm driving down today.
Oh, you're coming down. I'll see you in a few hours then.
Yes, you will. Anyway, when you're looking for places, there's not a right place or a wrong place. Ultimately, your choice depends on your team on the ground. You're going to make it or break it by your team on the ground. You're not there. People will say, we don't need to see a house to buy one. That is the biggest pile of you-know-what that I've ever seen. Someone has to walk in that house in your stead. And you always, always send a building inspector in. Because you're not there and you don't know what they missed, and the building inspectors are professional. Oh, and you got to find a good one because they're not all the same. Especially if you're in Ohio. Contractors find their licenses in popcorn boxes.
Oh.
You could walk in, your son could walk into any place in Ohio as soon as he turns 18, pay the money, and get a contractor's license. Your grandmother could walk into any place in Ohio and get a contractor's license. They're not. That's the other thing you have to check when you're looking, how they license their contractors, how they license their building inspectors. Not that it's going to stop you from using them. If I'm in Kansas City and I have a contractor, I know what he's gone through to get his license, and I know he's going to be knowledgeable, because they have to apprentice, they have to do this, they have to do that. In Ohio, they're not as strict. And the building inspectors tend to be contractors that don't want to use hammers. So you have to take the time to find the good ones. And you can actually find building inspectors that give you warranties.
Really? I've never heard of that before. That's interesting.
We have one building inspector that will warranty the roof and the furnace. If the furnace is on and working and he pronounces it healthy, you get a 5-year warranty for $1,000.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Same with the roof. You get a 5-year warranty for X number of dollars. You can find anything if you talk to enough people. And I think if there's something to give a new person, if you haven't talked to my rule, it has been from day one, I have to talk or type to 10 people, new people, every day.
Oh, that's a great way to expand your network. Yeah,
that's been my rule since I started doing business the way I'm doing it now 3 years ago. The only absolute rule I have is I have to talk or type to 10 different new people every day. And talk can't be high. It has to be at least a 5-minute conversation, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a lot, though. 10 a day, like, to multiply that out, yeah.
Every single day. That's Christmas Day. That's New Year's Day. That's every day. It's not, today's a holiday. I miss some days when I'm sick or for doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've now lowered it to 10 people a day, 6 days a week.
Wow.
And I've done that for 3 years. And I have an amazing tribe.
Wow.
You've met some of them. Before I find a property manager in a city, I'll probably speak to 20 property managers.
That's a hard one, too, is when you're starting new in a city is getting property. You know what? We're going to go down I would love to sit here. I could cut this into like 10 episodes by the time we're done. But,
sorry, Brian.
No, it's good. That's why I don't want to stop you, because it's all good stuff. But we could, you know what? We'll call it here. We'll have you back again, and we'll do another one. But in the meantime, if people wanted to get a hold of you, Linda, to do your course or to get in touch with you, be one of your 10 people for the day, how do they do so?
They can call me. Number is 705-474-4794. They can hit my Facebook group.
Yes.
It's Remote Investing Made Easy.
Perfect. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, too, if you just want the easy way to get there.
Simple way. And we have lots of coaching and stuff, and I keep everything affordable because people's money is supposed to be for investing. But if you're new and you're not paying for a coach, you're not going to get done.
Yep.
Good coaches aren't free, because I used to give it away and people didn't take it seriously. So now I charge something.
Yeah.
Talk to you all later.
Thanks, Linda.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.